Hello. I'd like to call this regular meeting to order for June 17th, 2025.
Second.
Great. I'll move on to the next item is election of officers. First up is the chair.
I would like to nominate Dennis Morris as our new chairman. Can I hear a second?
I will second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Is there any discussion about that?
Hmm?
Any discussion? No? Okay.
Well, yes, any discussion? It doesn't seem to be.
Okay.
Okay. All in favor?
Great.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Dennis, I'll pass it on to you.
Yep.
We'll go to the next stage, which is to elect a vice chair. I'd make a
I'd like
motion
to
that
recommend Chris Hansen.
Okay.
Any second?
Any thoughts on that?
I'm chair. I have to wait for comments.
Yeah, that's true.
Did I hear a second or not?
No second yet.
Yeah. Hearing none. Move to the next one. I make a motion for Kayla for vice chair.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
You got a second.
No, I'm just waiting. We've got a very independent group, I can already tell.
We've never been this quiet.
Hearing no discussion. All those in favor? The next elected official is the parliamentarian. I'd make a motion for Chris Hansen.
I'll second.
Any
Second.
discussion?
Chris Hansen, parliamentarian.
All those in favor?
I did not hear any of that.
Okay, I'll speak up louder. I made a motion for Chris Hansen. It was seconded. Kayla? You
I
seconded it?
seconded it.
Yeah.
I think we were a tie, but either way.
And then it was unanimous.
I didn't hear her either.
Yeah, it was seconded by Kayla, and then it was unanimous for Chris Hansen to be parliamentarian.
Kayla and Derek tied for second. Just to be clear for the record.
We're tiptoeing through this first start of this meeting, as you can tell. Next thing on the agenda, though, is the minutes for the previous meeting, which was the special select board meeting.
And I believe for this, only prior
have to
select board
abstain.
members? Yes. Yep. Chris and Kayla had to abstain. So.
Do we need a ruling from a parliamentarian on that?
I'm looking for a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Motion to accept the minutes as written for June 22nd. June 22nd.
Sam, you got a second?
Second what?
On the minutes, accepting the minutes?
Yes.
All those in favor?
Oh,
Okay, we're moving. The next thing on the agenda is the business license.
And Dennis, that has been pulled. So that's, they're no longer, they pulled their business license. So we'll skip item A, 4A.
They push it or pull it?
They pulled it.
Okay.
Withdrawn, sorry.
Number 4B would be the consideration of public safety's EMS regionalization grant, and we have the deputy chief. Lee, just speak on it.
Yep, Lee O'Connor, Deputy Chief for Raymond Fire. So what this is a stabilization grant, the second part that we received. We got together with Casco, Wyndham, Gray to fund a paramedic fly car. We're all hurting for medics. So for 30 weeks, we're gonna have this staff from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. with a medic. All they do is EMS. They don't respond on fires. They can respond to training in any one of the 4 communities, and they respond on all Delta and alcohol level calls. It's a 30-week trial period. Our portion from the town of Raymond was $15,000 we got in the grant. Casco got the same, and so did Gray. we all want to pitch this money into Wyndham. Wyndham is actually ponying up $50,000. They are supplying the car. We're going to share the wealth in the car, but it's to have a paramedic available 7 days a week for the next 30 weeks, starting July 1st. We're all hurting for medics. We can't find them. They're only putting out maybe 100 a year, and it's not enough.
Would you explain how that's going to work with a town that's busier, probably 5 times busier than us? Do they fill in for a paramedic who's out absent, or do they just stay a fly car?
They just stay a fly car. There's 20 medics that have signed up for this program already from all 4 communities, and they're actually reaching out to other communities that want to be part of it. They're paid under the town of Wyndham. There's no overtime involved. There's no benefits involved. Just a $35 an hour wage, which is the typical wage for a medic now. So they're funding it. We're funding it with them.
Who did you say was applying? Like people from all the towns that are involved?
Correct.
So potentially you could lose one to share it if somebody from Raymond went to that spot?
No, this is a per diem spot. It's not full-time. It's not going to be full-time until we get everything compiled. And then our goal is, we have another portion of money coming in eventually.
No, I realize that, but you said that it was going to be somebody that's already currently in one of those towns.
Correct.
As an EMS. So they won't have, I mean, they can't work now 80 hours, so they're going to be pulled out and put into this pool from, if it's a Raymond EMS person, then now they're getting shared and we lose their spot, what they were sitting at Raymond with.
No, it's a volunteer position. They sign up for a shift ahead of time. They can't be scheduled to work time before, time after. They have to still be subject to their department for forcing.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
it's all being looked at. It's a 30-week trial. We don't know where it's going to go. We want to compile all the information, see how it does work, and then from this information, hopefully it works really well. Now we'll go to the county and get the county to step in and say, you know what, this worked. Let's do a regional fly car or multiple regional fly cars to make it work in our county, because we can't get the medics in. We're too short right now at our department. That's 2 shifts that are running without a medic. Now we'll have an ability to have a medic here at all times. I'm off Mondays and we don't have a medic scheduled Monday. That medic will be able to cover our town with a medic. Second the call goes out, they'll start this way. Hopefully, and it's going to be training on our part to get the people not to wait on scene, get the patient loaded, meet them en route. They're going to dead man the car wherever it is, and the departments around will get the car back to where they're.
So the car's not really equipped with much, it's just to get them to the spot, to the ambulance, and to the person?
No, it's actually equipped with full EMS, a Zoll monitor, so they can do full cardiac.
Nice.
You have to now, because a lot of our calls, it's ALS.
I'm sorry, you mentioned Gray and Casco, but then I thought I also heard Wyndham.
Wyndham.
So the 4 towns are participating in this grant and each put in the 15,000?
Except for Wyndham.
Wyndham put in 50,000.
Okay.
Wyndham's the only one right now that's really staffed. They're running 4 medics per shift with 3 ambulances.
Well,
Good, Chris?
Lee, so the way you described it, 15 grand for the 3 small towns, 50 for Wyndham, that totally subsidizes it for 30 weeks?
Correct.
After that 30 weeks, you're gonna take this information, you're compiling it, and then do you have to apply for another grant, or is there a phase 2 of the grant to keep this going after the 30 weeks?
We don't believe we're not totally positive. The way it was presented, when I presented this information to the state to get the grant, each one of us, they instantly, it was an approval on the spot, unheard of. I believe the town's already got the money in the bank account, which is never that quick. They've already kind of told us there's going to be money left over. This is what they want to see with this stabilization money that they've been giving out. We got $18,000 the first time. We used that for in-house. We provided bulletproof vests for all our members, full-time members, training, specialized training in combat medicine, which we all see how this world's going is. We have some issues going.
So that was a grant last year,
Correct.
and this is a new grant.
Same
I'm
grant,
just-
second part.
I get it. So my only concern is they're going to get this going and it's going to be successful. I just want to make sure we have the money to continue it. And it's not on the taxpayers, it's a grant.
And that's what we're trying to find out. We won't know until we do it.
Fair enough.
I have just another question. Who will be doing, which town will take the responsibility for the quarterly reporting?
It'll go through Wyndham. All 4 towns, if they come to your town, they have a guy that will QI every report. This is 100% QI. And I will QI my guy that's on the call, who gets the intercept. It's a 2-part report. They will do their own individual report. We will do our report. Every time there'll be 2 reports for the intercept. So we'll be able to track all the numbers, what kind of calls they are they true ALS calls? It'll help in a bunch of different ways.
Anyone else? I think sounds like a win-win. The only thing I would ask or wonder about is there any way of tracking how often it's used in which town? For example, if we need it quite a few times, and yet it's tied up in Wyndham, and it ends up being less of a benefit, and I'm not saying I would ever be opposed to it anyways. I like regionalization, you know that. Are you tracking it in that fashion? Is that already set up?
Yes, every fashion of this it's called the Medic 200 program. Their car has already been deemed Medic 200. County's been made aware. They're going to track it every time it gets dispatched and where it goes to. We're also going to monitor it through our EMS reporting, which that gives us a lot of information alone on what calls it went on, plus our first due system will be tracked in there also. So there's 3 on our part and 2 on the town of Wyndham is going to track it. So there'll be plenty of information gathered.
Okay. Are you looking for us to give you a motion to approve these funds tonight?
To do what? Yes, ma'am.
I can do that. So I make a motion. Oh,
Yeah, Peter?
Peter Levitt, 2 Levitt Road. I just, echoing what the chair just said, I think we need to support regionalization wherever we have the opportunity to partner with the other communities, surrounding communities, and along with that, helping out all of the communities and building relations between all the communities. This might have some impact, and it might be that the plan is to try and reduce what I believe has been going on for several years, which is one town basically pillages another town's services, forcing that town then to raise everything that it's got to do as far as salaries and benefits in order to get them back into the fold. And this might help, in fact, moving towards more of a regionalized model to prevent that pillaging back and forth between communities, which also I don't believe probably builds a whole lot of good relationships. Thanks.
Thank you. Was there a second on the motion?
I'll make the
I don't
full
think the motion didn't
I
go
haven't
through.
made the
Yeah,
full
okay,
motion yet.
sorry.
So I make a motion to approve the acceptance of $15,000 from the State of Maine Department of Public Safety Maine EMS Sustainability Program.
Second.
Can I ask for maybe an amendment before we do this? Instead of having to come up again if it's automatic, as Lee just said, maybe we could say any funds towards this program instead of just the 15,000. Would that be appropriate? I'm asking you, Lee.
I can't.
Okay. All right, never mind. I'll withdraw that.
I would like to.
It's not bad to
have
come
the.
through.
I'd like to have the update,
Okay, good
where
point.
it's used,
Yes.
how much it's used in our town, and then that'll help us
It only took
decide.
us, yeah, it only
Yeah,
takes
it'll take us 5 minutes.
That's true.
So I think it might be good to get the update before we approve it.
I was looking to streamline. All right, all those in favor of the motion?
Did we get a second?
Yeah,
Okay.
Sam?
Yeah, Chris or Sam, yes.
Sam did. Nobody tied this time.
All right, that would be, the next one would be the quitclaim deed, for issuing the quitclaim deed. It appeared that it was paid off, Joe?
Yes.
So is that
And there's one,
Yeah.
So, yes, these are ones that we lease back to
To the town,
owners.
So it's putting back in their names from,
Right, I didn't know if
Tax
you
acquired.
wanted to talk about it. It's just straightforward from what I can see.
I think you're right.
we have the forms to sign afterwards.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve?
Yes.
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion?
Motion to approval. I don't know if we really.
They're just
have a
signing off.
motion.
To the deed, quitclaim deed, they paid the taxes.
Yes, I know. I think we have to say which one it is, though.
Ah, that's a good point. You have to read it.
There, I don't have that one. Well, I have it, but it's.
I can go
But you
ahead.
have to go, if the book and page is on there, then you can.
Yes.
Or the map and lot, whatever one. Just something to identify that property. It is map 10, lot 122, if you want.
It's right here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can make a motion to approve the quitclaim deed for map 10, lot 122, and map 52, lot 20J14.
I'll second that motion.
All right, thanks for the correction. All those in favor? Thank you for combining those two. That was very clever. Next thing on the agenda would be the consideration of the resolution in support of Raymond's Community Resilient Partnership Grant.
Chair Morse, we jumped the gun on this one, so the consideration of the resolution will be after a presentation by North Star.
Uh-huh.
So I can work with Chair and Vice Chair to set that up for possibly the next meeting. So they would present, they would give more information on the Community Resilience Grant, and then there'll be options to choose from there, which will be the resolution, so.
Well, I'll take a motion to table until the next meeting.
Okay.
I was looking for a motion.
My motion to table this consideration of a resolution until the next meeting.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Sam, you may get home early.
Let's pump the brakes on that.
This next one will be,
Consideration of setting a date for the comprehensive plan, public hearing and special town meeting. And I think you're going to carry the ball on this, Joe?
I can carry a little bit, yes. So we have to post this the public hearing 30 days, with 30 days notice. So that's not going to put us into the July meeting. So it's most likely looking like August 12th Select Board meeting would be the best possible meeting for the public hearing. The second is, can we hold the special town meeting afterwards with the public hearing before, and then the special town meeting to vote on the comprehensive plan?
To combine the two?
Yeah.
Can I ask
Of
a
course.
question
Please.
here? I guess when I saw this, I was just a little sort of confused because I thought at the last meeting on June 2nd that this was already sort of, the process was established. So I'm a little curious as to why this was not posted then, or beginning, June 3rd or June 4th.
As far as posting the public hearing?
The
Or setting up?
notice of the public hearing.
Oh, because we haven't settled the
We have to-
date of
we
the
have to get
public
that date.
hearing. Yeah, we haven't set a date for that.
We had to meet as a board to set
Yeah.
the date.
Okay.
The posting was, there was a posting, though, basically to say it was posted on the web, right?
The web and the printed copies and the documents,
The
yeah.
document is available, so that we'll meet the deadline, the required time frame for that. But we need to set a date for public hearing that allows us 30 days to have that posted. So a date needs to be chosen before we can post it, and that hasn't been done yet.
Yeah.
So what's your recommendation on the date?
I believe
The August.
August 12th would be the best solution to that. So hold the public hearing before, and then we'll go into special town meeting for vote.
Is that a secret ballot or?
It'll be just a,
No, open.
This is cards.
This one's
Yeah.
open.
Yeah, so it'll be open.
That's the earliest we can legally do it is the 12th, because we already have, or is that just you've looked at dates and that's the best
It'd
one?
be the best to combine everything, unless we
Okay.
want to hold a
separate
separate one
Okay.
before then.
Okay.
Peter?
Yeah, so just to be clear, and this has been a little murky, but at today's meeting, when you set the date, that's when the clock starts for the 30 days required.
no.
No?
It has to be posted, the public hearing has to be posted, advertised for 30 days before the meeting can happen.
Yes. So setting the date today for the meeting, correct? We're setting the date tonight for the special town meeting.
Public hearing, yeah, and then the special town meeting, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so we're setting the date for the public hearing. And it wasn't done at last month's select board meeting primarily, or the earlier this month, primarily because they did not set the date for the public hearing, because the clock would have started then. But they did not set that date. Since they didn't set that date, the clock didn't start. So the clock starts, hopefully, tonight with the decision, no? I guess I'm confused.
Needs to be
Posted and
posted.
advertised.
Notice of public hearing must be posted in each municipality at least 30 days before the hearing. So it needs to be physically posted. It needs to be advertised in the paper, and it needs to be, an announcement of the date of the hearing needs to be put up at
So
the town office.
theoretically, the clock would start Friday, because if we can get this in the Wyndham Eagle by then it's posted in the newspaper and can be posted on the town websites and on the office and all that.
Okay.
Right, but your next meeting, that's 30 days away, isn't until the August meeting. So that's why we're suggesting the August meeting.
And then you're suggesting that the August meeting also be followed up by a vote?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
So I do have a question, because I always have too many questions anyway.
We've read this.
Right, and I understand all that stuff you're saying, but that's not, the question I have
Yeah.
is if, that's the next scheduled select board meeting.
It's the second, actually. So July 8th would be the next select board meeting if we vote on that, and then
It's under
August 12th
30
will be the
days.
second.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because we had the vote, so we're a week behind on this month. So
the-
it's condensed.
The options are either
Yeah.
next meeting, or second next meeting, or you schedule a special.
right.
Right, and that's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's almost with the time, and it'd be a week difference.
It has to be. Yeah, it would have to be after. Yeah, exactly. It'd be a week
Yeah.
to.
Correct me if I'm wrong, we haven't set the August 12th date.
We have not set either, July 8th or August 12th.
So my question would be, do we move up the August date to August 6th or 5th, or to make it even sooner?
Kind of, but you can. But it's kind of reinventing the wheel if.
Because you want
We
the
have to
second
figure out if there's
Tuesday.
anybody
Oh,
else here.
okay,
The
okay,
reason we
yeah,
do it the
yeah,
second is
okay.
because we know we have this time and
Yes.
everybody's usually available, the videographers,
That's
and
right,
nobody else steals
that's
his
right.
place and all that. But, I mean,
That's true.
we can try to figure it
That
out.
would delay it even more.
But it looks like we're only
Okay.
going to
Yeah.
save
What's-
a, day,
what-
a
No,
week or
no.
I know
so.
Peter might,
Sounds like
it's
we
a
have a
week
plan
difference, but
that you
probably
put
want it done
together.
sooner, but yeah.
So I guess. So the recommendation by the town manager is August 12th for both the public hearing as well as a vote.
Yep.
Do I hear a motion here?
Do I have to say that?
No.
Okay.
I'm asking if there's a motion to accommodate your wishes and your plan.
I'll make a motion to set the date for the comprehensive plan public hearing to be August 12th.
I second that.
Second?
Any more discussion? All those in favor? It's for both?
Did you include the
Yeah.
public,
Do we- Do we need it one separate and
vote, yeah.
distinct, I was thinking?
or do we want a
I
separate motion?
thought we would just be, I'm sorry.
Well,
Don't be sorry, I'm just asking.
I'm just thinking we should have a separate,
Separate for the public hearing
Yeah,
and the
this is
special
public
town
hearing. You
meeting.
got the town meeting August 12th now, but you need the public hearing for the vote. I mean, we have the public hearing.
Now we have the
We
public.
need this special town meeting
right.
added to that.
Okay.
I just thought it should be a separate vote.
Okay, so I amend my,
No,
Just do another
I'm just
one.
going to add,
Do another motion.
okay, so I make a motion to set the date
Special meeting.
for a special meeting to be August 12th.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor? Okay, you got that one done. Well, looks like Nathan's up. The next one is the discussion, well, actually, two people.
Yeah.
Did I skip something?
No,
The van?
you're good.
Discussion of the van for Parks and Public Recreation. Nathan's to lead it, I guess.
And there was a quick presentation talking points by Riley, interim Parks and Rec Director. Just handed out.
Thought, I was thinking where he's on the agenda, we'd find out what kind of van it is and what it has for potential, and then bring you up, if you don't mind.
Hi, welcome to the board. Parks and Rec has grown quite a bit in the last couple of years, and part of the problems they've run into is transportation. We had a school bus given to us from the RSU a few years back. We purchased a 25-passenger handicap van 2 years ago. Problem is staffing that to drive that. Both those vehicles have to have a commercial driver's license with a bus endorsement. There's a lot of little trips that they make, and they had discussed with me over the last couple of years about looking for a van. And we came across a 15-passenger 2019. It's got 60,000 miles on it. It's from Florida. Its fair market value is right around the $22,500. I found a couple of comparisons. There's some above it and some below it, more mileage, less mileage. I think the important part about this one, or the best part about this one, is it's lived its whole life in Florida. It's rust-free. We've inspected it. It's in really good shape. They've got a lot of use for it.
if we go through this, are we going to spray it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, that's absolutely going to happen. I'll let you go through that.
Yeah, so as Nate said, the biggest upside for this is that you wouldn't need a commercial license. So pretty much the case right now is Joe used to drive for us. Obviously, he's not able to anymore. We put out for a bus driver. They're impossible to find. Even in the summer, it's really impossible. And we go on field trips 2 to 3 times a week, right? So the case would be if we are able to just get one bus driver, we could have our one school bus. But if we were able to have this van, we're like right on the edge of being between one bus and 2 buses. So if we had that one bus and we had this van, we would be able to get away with that. But if we didn't have the van, we would probably have to have 2 buses. If we can't find a bus driver, or let alone 2 bus drivers, we would have to contract out, which we've already contracted out 2 of our big field trips just in case. So those are Alkebugan and Storyland, the big trips. But we would have to contract out, and it's about $1,000 every time we do that for one bus. So if we have to do 2 buses, it's probably more for longer trips, right? So those are short trips. Where we're contracting out from comes from Lewiston. So part of that cost is just them getting here, right? So we could go to a trip in Wyndham and it's still almost $1,000 for each bus. So that's where I think we would save a lot of money. This could be used not just for us, right? So the Vision Committee going to different schools and visiting, they could just hop in that van together. We wouldn't have to worry about someone who has that license. We're going on a staff trip on Friday to celebrate the end of training, and we're going to Peaks Island. This would be perfect to just get everyone, not have to worry about our staff driving other staff in their own cars, and just get in and go together. For summer camp, if we want to do group trips, we don't have to worry about getting a whole bus for that, right? We could, we went over to Public Works to go in the trucks one day. Like, we could just bring that one thing and we don't have to worry about having a bus driver anywhere we go. This would just be our leadership team driving. We wouldn't put it on our teenage counselors to drive this. We would make sure it is our leadership staff and we know the people that are driving it. So, yeah.
And I'll just plug in age-friendly also. Age-friendly Raymond would do so.
Derek and then Chris.
So where would the funds be pulled out of to buy this?
Equipment, CIP. Excuse me.
For this year?
Excuse me?
For this year?
Yes. Yeah.
Chris?
That was my question. Thanks, Derek.
I don't think there's a lose on this. Try it out for the summer. If we don't use it enough, you're not going to lose much. You'll lose a little bit of money on a resale, but I don't really see that being a big problem. There's a lot of other uses for this. There's a lot of other departments that could use this. We just did a training in Skowhegan last month. We took 3 pickups up, take 1 vehicle. I know the fire department does training from time to time. If it's available, they'd be more than welcome to use it.
It makes sense to me from a practical point of view. The only note I made was handicap accessibility, because it said age-friendly, and I didn't know if this van could have a conversion kit put on it.
I don't think on the 15 passengers you can. I can look into it. I speak completely, I don't know.
This is probably more of a 15-person and students and, kids, and I'm not looking for it. I just wondered if it was possible. You take out the back seat and they use the back entryway, that's all.
Does the other one, the one that you have to drive, that one has it? Capability?
It has a lift that drops down to roll a wheelchair or walker or something like that. So it's got a ramp, but it doesn't have like the lift kit that I think Dennis is talking about.
Right.
You can also take like the seats out. So like when we go on like huge shopping sprees for Tasseltop Snack Shack, like we can just take those seats down and fill the back, which has a lot more room than just the truck.
Yeah, we try to beat the clock on the frozen stuff with the truck. So hopefully keep it cooler.
Does it have air conditioning?
Oh, yeah.
It's a Florida car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other comments?
No.
Entertain a motion?
Do you plan to keep the other vehicles?
Okay.
For the time being, yes. That's
Gotcha,
something
Cliff.
we're going to have to work with the Parks and Rec. The full-size bus, we're talking with Wyndham to replace that with a newer bus. Those are free. They donate those to us. Nothing's free. We got to paint it. That's a couple of grand.
Not blue this
Something
time,
other
blue
than
and gray this time.
Prison gray, but
Yeah.
it's okay. So the other one, that's on my, I want to say it's another 3 years out. That truck's got 140 on it, I think, around that way range.
Everything here, the mileage and everything sounds ideal, so. Cliff, you got a comment?
I have one comment. We're 7 days from the town meeting. This wasn't in any CIP I saw when we're going through all this. And I'm seeing all these add-on money things, and new CIP for that. He's got another one on paving to go into an agreement that's $500,000. And why didn't we see this when we're building the budget? And that's my only comment. I'm not necessarily against doing it, but boy, it's damn poor, non-visible way of doing business, because it isn't a new idea.
Did you introduce yourself, sir?
Oh, I'm sorry. Cliff Small, 84 Route 85. I'm sorry.
I was going to let him vent first.
So I think, I'm assuming, since you want to take it from this year's CIP fund, that there are additional funds available.
Yes, I have carryover money in that account.
Yeah.
And to answer to Cliff, the van wasn't available during the budget process. When you're looking for used equipment, you got to.
There you go.
Welcome back to our meeting. Today on the 17th, we had a glitch with the computer. We apologize for that. And we're back on the discussion about the van proposed by Nathan White and Riley for recreation use as well as age-friendly. I'll entertain a motion, one way or the other.
Make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept the proposal for the van from Parks and Rec.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
For what? For
Purchasing the-
purchasing
Purchasing at the,
this 2019 15-passenger van for $22,500.
All those in favor?
Will you get a second?
I second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sam, you in favor?
Yeah, I had my hand up.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
I looked over and it was down.
I'm kind of short, so that, maybe just get up for.
Well, Nathan's right here. We're going to talk, the next thing is discussion of the MPI for Egypt Road, 121 and 85?
No.
'Cause that's how it's written.
So
It's discussion of Egypt Road, correct?
discussions for Egypt Road. Egypt Road's been a kind of a hot topic the last couple of years. It belongs to DOT now. A few years back, we surrendered it to DOT with the town of Gray, and we lost the maintenance responsibilities for that road. The only thing they've done in the last 20 years is MPI. I'm sorry, I have MPI in the brain, is a maintenance mulch mix, which is about a 5/8 thick, and that's all they're gonna do to that road. 85 Egypt Road and 121 are minor collector roads, priority 4s. And put it in perspective, 302 is a priority 1. And it's, from the people at the DOT in Augusta, all we're going to see on these roads is what we've been seeing, and that's it. My concern is Egypt Road, it's at 3,200 cars a day going across that as an average. We've had some tremendous crashes. We have trouble in the wintertime plowing it because it's so out of shape. It's narrow. At its widest point, it's 22 feet, which is unsafe for that road. We get complaints daily of people trying to bike across it. There's no arguing any of that. So an MBI program, and we've done 4 of them. We did 3 on 85, 1 on 121, and the 5th one would have been Main Street, the sidewalk project. That was an MPI project, where we pay 50% of the cost of doing the road, and we do the work. I put just a quick estimate together. This is, take it for just an estimate. When I do my estimates, if it's $50, I add another 100 to it. It looks to be about 1.2 million to do the road. My proposal to DOT in just the talks, just can we do this, can we do that, was to do it in 2 years. Do half 1 year and half the second year. It saves on our financial end. It also doesn't overload my department with work. But I just need permission or your thoughts on it. Do I go any further with it? There's not a ton of work to go forward. It's an application to fill out. The only downside is when they say go, we better have the money to go. And that will be one of the questions, do we have the funding to go? So, any thoughts on this?
Sure. You mentioned a 2-year project. What would be done in year 1 and what would be done in year 2? How would that
I
be
would
split?
suggest and recommend we do the first section year 1. And that would be from 85 to the mile or half mark, which is down, it's halfway. So it's a little after the old dump road down there.
Okay, so you'd be doing a full section, including the tree removal, culverts, gravel,
Correct.
reclaim, pave for a first section and then a second section?
And how I do my roads, and DOT let us do this on 85, is we did do all the prep work, construction work, and we put the binder down. And then the second year, we do the second half. The third year, we overlay the whole road. So the cost on the third year is going to be a little bit more than the first year.
Okay. Is there an application deadline for this grant program?
Sooner the better. There's a pool of money, and I think it's, what did they,
Got you next.
I think they got 8 million.
So you're not sure the application deadline? Or
There
is
isn't
it-
an application
okay,
deadline,
so it's
no.
just there
We
until
missed
it's-
this year just because they've already funded this year's projects. This would be for next fiscal year.
Is it okay if I ask all my questions at once, or do you want me to?
Well, go ahead. Maybe Chris won't have to ask us. I won't have to ask mine. Go for it.
I'm sorry. I think it's important to sort of understand a fiscal impact of a project. So knowing that we'd have to be coming up with half of this, so that's approximately $625,000. And then if you split that into, 2 years, we're looking at a little bit above 300 and change each year. So do you think you can fit that in your current CIP plan?
Yes, I've got $425 a year for CIP paving. That'll give me a little extra money to do a couple of small projects in town that are on our roads.
Chris?
That was part of my question. The other part was, you said the first phase would go to Farwell, roughly?
Farwell Drive in that area.
So the second phase would go to the town line?
Correct.
And is Gray going to do from the town line down to
No idea.
Egypt, or you don't know?
No.
So that, you guys don't work in unison like you did in 97?
We do to a point, but this is the very beginning of it. I haven't even talked to Tim about it. They may. They may very well team up with us and
It
go with it.
might be a good idea to just check with them. If
Well,
you're going to
I-
apply, which I think that's where we might be headed, then if you had the conversation with Gray, they could, maybe that'd be great if the whole road was done.
I didn't go any further with it until I talked to you guys.
Yeah, no, I
That's
appreciate
why. No, my
that.
plan was to, when we paved that the last year we owned the road, we did it the same year. We worked with Gray and we did the work
Right,
together.
that's why I brought it up.
Yeah.
Derek?
So, a couple questions on when does, do they have pavement schedules for that road, the state themselves?
Yes, it's out about another 4 years for maintenance mulch. I think it's 4 years.
And what do they do?
Nothing. What you see is they're going to paint it black with about a 5/8 thick coat of paving.
And that's what they're, so if we widen this or put them in the end to widen it and pave it and all that, when they go back and pave it, are they paving
They'll
what
do
we've
it.
widened and what we've done or with 5/8 every 4 years, or are they?
Yes, they'll put it on their schedule. And what we've seen on 85 is 1 year they'll pave what they call from fog line to fog line. Then the second cycle, they'll pave the full width. They've done that twice on 85 since we did that program on 85.
And what do we have in here? How big are you trying to make it? Do you have any? What did
I
you
would
quote,
suggest
basically?
going the width of 85 right now with the volume of traffic. And it all depends on what you have for room to work within the right-of-way. I would suggest 24 feet of travel with 3-foot paved shoulders.
That's included though in this, right?
That's my estimate. Yeah, that's my hand-scratched estimate. And that can go, most likely will go down because I've got $300,000 just for tree work, and I don't think it's going to come anywhere near that. Probably half that we can do with our mower that we have. I'm just looking for whether you want me to pursue it, waste my time going any further with it. It may get turned down. They may say no.
Nathan, I don't think anyone in this town would be opposed to exploring this. I had the same question that Derek just asked, which is widen it. I don't see any sense in repaving what they have right now,
Correct.
because the accidents are still going to be happening, the shoulders are still soft, and smoother highways, they go faster, not slower.
That is the downside to this. There's no arguing that point. You make it flat, black, and smooth, and the speed's going to go up probably 10-15%. And they will. That road's posted 45, I think. I don't see them posting that any faster. I don't. 85 is 45, and they still consider that rural.
I'm actually saying I'd like to see shoulders as a prerequisite.
Oh, absolutely.
I
wouldn't
don't
do that without paved
see,
shoulders.
with a wider paved road, maybe someone could have dodged something.
Yep.
And maybe it would be faster with some people, but it'd be safer regardless.
A lot of times what happens, especially on Egypt Road, the traffic's running 50, 55 miles an hour, and there's not enough room for everybody. So when they get crowded, they drop off the pavement. Then the next car drops off, and then you've got a wheel rut right up against the pavement.
Right.
That's that deep. So the fourth or fifth car, when it goes off, it loses control, and that's where your bigger problems are, and the speed.
Okay, any more discussion?
One more thing. This is kind of just a general question that hopefully you know the answer to, or maybe not, but the classifications on priority, do they reevaluate those with, new homes, new anything coming in? Do they have a certain time frame? I know you have the little strips across every once in a while, like not you, but whoever, for traffic count and whatnot. Do they reprioritize those roads, and is there a way to try to get them to change that priority? Is that completely on them and we have no say in it?
I've tried over the years to get 85 reprioritized, to get Egypt Road reprioritized, and they giggle and laugh and move along. Not going to happen.
And that's
in this process.
All those are for?
Huh?
All those roads are for?
Yeah, 85, 121, and Egypt Road.
Egypt Road I can say, but I really can't comprehend.
more.
85 and 121 is.
Egypt Road's got higher traffic count than 85.
Yeah, well, I know, but it's not. I don't traffic count for.
I guess to correctly answer the question, I don't know what that trigger point is. I've asked it, didn't get an answer, but I will ask it before we get going too far on this. I don't see them changing it. I don't see that happening.
And when they ups priority, does it get thicker pavement, more frequent?
It's got to get up into the 2 priority before they're going to do any reconstruction work. Or we have to go through the MPI program.
Do you anticipate that this would defer other scheduled maintenance that you had?
Yes, because it's probably, I'm going to guess, 8 to 10 weeks worth of work for my crew. And if you add a contractor in there, the cost of it's going to go probably double. So yes, yeah.
Okay. I believe I would be in support of.
Chris, and then I'm going to ask the public.
Yeah, I have one more question. So you said you had some paving monies that's in your CIP budget.
Correct.
So if you use it on Egypt Road, what roads had you had in mind if this wasn't going to be a project?
Our next...
Are we going to put off some projects on other roads?
Yeah, our next 2 roads for overlay would be Cape Road and North Raymond Road. One of those will get either cut in half, and we'll do it in 2 parts. It's probably the solution.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? I'll entertain a motion, one way or the other.
I'm sorry. I would like, if this does move forward, to at least, when it comes back, to get a good sense of how this would impact the overall CIP budget and how it would push things forward.
Yeah, that's a easy calculation. It's just going to take, we're in the process of saving money up to do Raymond Cape and North Raymond Road. Both those are lengthwise are big enough so it would take my entire budget. So what we would do is, instead of doing the whole 4.5 miles of Raymond Cape, we'd cut that in half or maybe down a little further than that, and we just prolong it. That road's not in bad shape. It's 22 years old now.
Wow.
So it's going to start pitching pretty quick.
Is that one getting in your proposed, say this doesn't go through and that's what you're doing next
year?
North Raymond and Cape, is that getting wider?
Well,
or is that
no. What I've got scheduled for Raymond Cape Road is just a shim and overlay.
Okay.
And that's something that we can definitely talk about.
Same for North Raymond Road?
Same for North Raymond Road. North Raymond Road, the problem with North Raymond Road, it's a little tighter in spots, and I don't think I can get, you get onto the north side from Ganderbrook towards Poland, there isn't enough room to widen that.
Yep.
And same thing when you get down into the S-turns down by the Edwards Old Farm. There's some obstacles in the way there. Cape Road, pretty clear once you get out of the village area. You could easily do a 3-foot paved shoulder on that. The only problem to do it right is you'd have to reclaim the road, grind it, and then do it all as one unit. Do each lane, your travel lane and your paved shoulder at the same time. That's going to give you the best lasting road. If you pave what you got right now, you're going to fight with it.
All right. Entertain a motion, one way or the other.
I will motion to explore the MPI grant for Egypt Road.
I don't know if there has to be one. We can just tell him, can't we? Or do we have to vote that he can explore it? Just asking. I don't know if that.
That's
Well-
entirely up to you guys.
At least the public will know that we're moving forward with exploring it. It'll be recorded in the minutes.
Okay.
So you need a second?
Yes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
We'll get
Thank you,
on it.
Nathan.
Thank you very much for your time.
Okay. The consideration of the staff annual appointments. Melanie's presenting or just going through the list?
In the red folder, there's the list.
Good.
Do you need it?
Does everyone have a
Dennis?
print up? No,
We
I've
have
got
a
mine.
printout.
You got one? Okay.
Yeah.
It's pretty much a straightforward, same people, right? Is there anyone new here?
Mm-hmm. Health officer,
Oh, correct.
Code enforcement.
harbor master, same as last year, I think.
Code enforcement.
Code enforcement.
No. Anyone have any questions on it? It's pretty straightforward. If not, I entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the appointment of municipal officers as presented in the agenda. Do you need them listed off each individually, or is that going to be sufficient?
As listed.
I can't hear you, sorry.
I said that I move to approve the appointment of municipal officers as posted in the agenda. Is that sufficient for you, Melanie, or do you need them listed off individually?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Chris Hansen. All those in favor? Okay. And that covers both pages?
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't, that's
No.
right. Okay, the second page.
Well, would you like a motion, Chair?
Yeah, I'd like an explanation, though. Why is this one different? Is it following a different 30A, 26-1?
Are you talking about the municipal officers?
Yeah, if they're,
Why it's not combined with appointment by municipal officers?
right.
I'm not sure if there's,
Volunteer versus paid?
maybe that's a separation. This is appointed.
Staff responsibilities and then volunteers for boards, so they're separate things.
Okay.
I thought the health officer was volunteer position, though. So does that get moved?
Well, yeah, a lot of the staff appointments are
person's doing it.
clarifications of like sub roles of
Okay.
ours.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify it for my own
Good.
knowledge in the future. I always like to know if it's a new person coming on, though, if it's someone new.
Okay, I move to approve the appointment of municipal officers as presented in the agenda for the committees of the Board of Assessment Review, Conservation Commission, Planning Board, Veterans Memorial Park Committee, and Zoning Board of Appeals.
Second.
All those in favor? Now, the appointment of selectmen to the different committees, which are just 3, isn't it?
That's it.
Isn't the school, doesn't that have one too?
I don't think it's official.
Okay,
I think the
What-
building committee one was special appointment, I believe.
okay, the beautification committee, who would like to serve on that?
I'll do it.
Okay,
I think the most beautiful should be the one that does it. That's just really how
puts
this,
me right on the back.
I'm out, so.
I make a motion. Do we even have, we'll do them all, right? We'll get the volunteers and make one motion. Recycling
Do it.
committee. Anyone interested in that?
Is the recycling committee still active?
Oh.
I can't find anything
Can
that shows.
Grace is,
that-
Grace,
There-
speak to that?
Is that okay?
Yeah.
oh yes,
Please.
please do.
So, I don't think they've met in a while.
Ah,
Grace Levitt, Levitt Road. I would like it to be, but some more people are needed, some more people from the town. So some of the folks that had been serving on it dropped off, and so it's been inactive, but I think it would be good to get it going again at some point, if we could get some more people, and if someone could step up and be a chair, et cetera. So if you appoint someone from the select board tonight, I think that that's not a bad idea, but hopefully we can encourage some folks to be on some of these committees and reactivate them. I think it's really important, especially given some of the discussions from the visioning committee that we've had recently for things going forward. Thanks.
Thank you, Grace.
I don't mind being on recycling committee and see if we get people back active. I mean, I recycle boards, plywood, windows.
That's called hoarding. It's hoarding, it's not.
Oh, you sound like my wife. Anyway, I'll go on that committee and see if we can't reactivate. Veterans Memorial Park Committee. And that one's active, right?
It's
Sam?
just Dave, yeah.
All right, Sam.
McIntyre.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
I think we'll just accept it as,
Do we have one for the recycling committee? Did I miss?
yeah.
We got one.
So, we're winding down here. The next thing Consideration annual fee schedules. I do have some questions on that.
So this has been circulated around to all of the department heads and other appropriate staff, and no one has suggested any changes from last year.
That was my top question, so that answers that. I think it's straightforward then.
Yes,
Any
status
questions
quo.
or anyone? Status quo? I have a motion to accept it as? Do we even need a motion where it's just moving forward? Is Let's do it. All right, let's formalize it.
All right, I'll make a motion to accept the Town of Raymond 2025-2026 fee schedule effective July 1st, 2025, as presented in the agenda packet.
I second that.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? That. We're going to do the, when I saw this agenda, I had this question, and I'm not sure, but usually we do a public comment at the end of a meeting. Are we doing that so that we go to executive session? No one's waiting, right?
Yeah.
That's just for timing for, so at this stage, we'll ask for public comment, if there's any. It's for the convenience, though, right? We'll vote to come out of executive session, and then, Grace?
Grace Levitt, Levitt Road. Just a couple of things, and I'm glad that was listening to the discussion about Egypt Road, et cetera. It reminded me from something I thought last night that I meant to say tonight, so I appreciate that. This is really more of a public service announcement than a public comment. Just to anyone listening, anyone catching this, please, as people are walking along the roads, as somebody else mentioned it last night at the Visioning Committee meeting as well, they're not wearing something making them visible. Their clothing might be dark, it might be dusk, it might be foggy. People are walking side by side in the road as the traffic is coming along, or they're not facing traffic. So just a reminder to please, 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 if you haven't heard me say the word safety yet, please, let's just be safe. And so just a reminder about that, and also wondering where the traffic calming signs are, if I haven't seen them around town, if they are still being moved around, and kind of gathering that and helping to remind folks to watch that speed limit. Again, that's going to be something I'll just keep harping on a bit as well. And since school is now out, and thank you, community, for supporting the school budget, I'll add that in there as well. Was glad to see that pass. But kids are out as well, and on bicycles. And so, again, to just whoever can help remind folks to just be careful on these roads. We don't need any tragedies there as well. I did have a question. I don't know if there's an answer to it. I had been meaning to ask earlier what the status was of the Public Works Committee that was looking at a Public Works building that had been scheduled back in March. And unless I've missed something, I don't think that's happened. But if there's an answer to that can be given, that would be great. Thank you.
Peter?
Peter Levitt, 2 Levitt Road. So just a couple of things. First, just to plant this in the forefront of the Select Board, that it looks as if we will shortly at least get a decision from the community on the draft comprehensive plan. And if, in fact, it is adopted, I would just remind you that as soon as possible, an implementation committee needs to be set up for the comprehensive plan. I'd hate to see it delayed 6 months or whatever, because the plan, once approved, as I have said before, the real work begins with the implementation committee taking that plan and then working to implement it. And then secondly, just reinforce what Chris had mentioned about the Egypt Road. Any opportunity that we have, similar to the the EMT type of a deal that was discussed earlier for regionalization or working with partners, we really should at least early on contact the Gray authorities and see. I mean, certainly doing the whole road makes more sense than doing half the road. If there are these grants available that Raymond is going to apply for, it could be applied for by Gray as well. And I would think that MDOT would be looking favorably at the fact that the two communities that have the responsibility for that road, or that passes through those two communities, working together would definitely make sense. Thanks.
Frank?
Hi, Frank McDermott, McDermott Road, Raymond. I'm here to offer you a job, the Select Board and the new town manager. It's been over 25 years since we've had a Founder's Day. If we really are going to try to build a community in the town of Raymond, I think we need to go back to celebrate who we are at least once a year. So I would like to give you a charge, and that charge would be to set up a system in which we would have a Founder's Day or something like a Founder's Day next summer.
Next summer?
Next summer, we have some stuff going on this summer, Frank. You don't worry about that.
Well,
We're on the same, I think many of us are on the same page.
all right.
Chair Morris, can I say something on
Sure
that?
can.
So I do agree with Frank, and we've kind of put this on Parks and Rec's radar as well. Just, reinvigorating our events. Naples just put in for an events committee that's run under Parks and Rec that will kind of push. I think they had like a rock summer night. They have a couple other events coming up. It's a committee with a select board representation, and then also community members that have a willingness to explore these events and push it forward. So it's kind of a good compromise on not just having it all in one department, but on a group of people pushing these events. So that'd be a good system to implement or talk about in the future to bring back Founder's Day. So
Thank you. Anyone else from the public? Seeing none. Select Board comments?
I'd just like to add about the Founder's Day idea. I think it's a great idea. We've heard from comprehensive plan committees, other committees, that community spirit is something that we really need to build. I think that we started that with the Everybody Loves Raymond, having the event down at Sherry Gagnon Park a few years ago, and it kind of lost steam when COVID hit. So bringing that kind of a event to Tasseltop or to other facilities, maybe multiple facilities in Raymond, is a great idea. I would highly support that for the community spirit and bringing people together.
Great.
I think so as well. We have we've had a couple communications with Joe, and so we have plenty of space, plenty of areas, plenty of venues in the area to get that back up and going. Again, we just did a couple with the school, trying to the 8th graders, because here in this community, when we're done 8th grade, we don't just go to Raymond High School. They kind of split up, so they didn't have anything with COVID and everything too that hit. They went down to Tasseltop, which is a nice venue, but that was their spot for a big end of the year trip type thing. So they put together a few things. They did a community dinner, which was very successful and brought everyone together. It was a great event. The kids helped out. The community helped out. Everybody went. They raised money. That part was great. And they got to fundraise and do a few fun things to go to the Songa River Queen and also to Funtown. But that whole experience, even though it was RSU 14 thing and not really just to Raymond thing, it brought the community together. So with that, we've had talks of kind of broadening that, like Frank said, and we have some great venues like Tasseltop, and we already have quite a few good ideas and a few things to bring over there. So I think we have enough time to get it done for the end of this year. I think there's a few people that are pushing to get it done this year and not wait till next year. So hopefully that continues.
Yeah, Sam?
I just have one little thing. In fact, it's a big thing. And that is I'm welcoming the new board members tonight. Sheila Gonzalez, Chris Hansen,
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would say the same, and it was exciting to have 4 people seeking that election instead of just 1 or 2. And I also would say, repeat what Derek said, and that is that we have enough facilities to start community gatherings on a much larger scale. And I'm looking forward to the community involvement with all of it. So other than that, it's up to the town manager now to give you his report and communications on what he's been doing the last month or so.
Yeah, so.
Been driving a bus around.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes. So first update is for code enforcement. I'd like to welcome Jason Williamson. He's the new director of code enforcement. And with that, Chris Hansen has stepped down to his original role of assistant code officer. So thank you, Chris, for filling in for that short time. It was over a year. But now Jay's taken over and doing great. So with that, it's also left a spot open for Budget Finance Committee with Chris being on the select board. So it's a little bit more complicated than we thought with the appointment process. So we did put in your packet section 25 of the bylaws for the Board of Selectmen to kind of walk through the best process to fill that Budget Finance Committee vacancy. And Mel, you could probably speak on this a little bit better of what is in here.
Yeah, so this is a case of you do the best you can until you know better, and then when you know better, you do better. So I was under the impression that Chris could just simply tender his resignation, and then we would announce it, publicize it, that we're looking for someone else, and that position would be filled for a year to cover us through an appointment by the select board until next June's election, where someone would be elected for the remaining 1 year of Chris's term. And today, I just found that there is that this board has bylaws.
Right, clearly laid out.
Didn't know that before. So, and in there, and you guys all have a copy of that section, is what's spelled out for how the process is supposed to happen, but it's not crystal clear. So we kind of wanted to just put it out there to the 5 of you to try to see how we can handle filling that vacancy on the Budget Finance Committee.
So first step, it looks like, is put this on the agenda for July 8th.
No, first step is accepting the resignation.
Correct.
Do we have?
But it has to be on an agenda item.
Yeah.
Yes, it's been formally accepted by the Budget Finance Committee. So here it says, the considered candidates will then appear as a formally stated board or committee agenda item at the next regular meeting, wherein the board committee will make a recommendation for the appointment to the select board. So I guess we can forego that, if you guys are comfortable with that, and then go with the appointment piece for the next select board meeting.
It's a 30-day notice. Isn't it a 30-day notice?
Application for the applications, yes. Yeah. So I guess that'd be August.
At our July meeting, we'd have to formally accept the resignation.
We don't have to.
It says it, doesn't it, right on here?
Double duty.
I think to move forward, you have to accept the resignation.
Right. We accept the resignation, then we post it on the agenda for the next time, stating that it was...
And then we need some volunteers to come forward
for
application.
That's right. And that's why the
That's
public notice.
That's in the 30-day process.
That's what she needs to post.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So is that, I mean, yeah, so we guess we can go through right here and accept the resignation from for the select board. And then we can post for that application of the vacancy for Budget Finance Committee. That doesn't put us, I don't think, 30 days to July 8th.
I mean, we're kind of not, you're kind of skipping over A.
Right.
And you're kind of,
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Is that you?
Yes,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
you're kind of
I felt
blowing
like
A out of the water, so.
So
Yeah. All right.
we have to, it has to be on a formally stated
Right.
agenda item. We just can't say that we
That's
do
what I
that
was
now.
saying, yes. So that's what I originally was saying.
So July 8th, this would be an agenda item in which we officially accept the resignation.
Gotcha.
And then we move to step B.
Okay. Sorry, I think Dennis and I got
After the
confused.
notification. So he notified us, and it was apparent with the election.
Correct.
So that's a notification. And then the next one is on the agenda, and then it gets advertised.
Okay.
And then the question, an additional question is the appointment that the select board makes to fill that position going to be for the entire remainder of
Yes.
that term?
It is, so that you stagger the terms.
Okay,
The whole
so it will
purpose
be
is to
someone
have-
stepping up
That's
to
right.
fill
It'll be
the
until,
2
They
years,
they would fill until the next,
It'll-
so when was your term up?
2 years.
2 years. So they would be appointed for those 2 years.
Right.
yeah.
For the full term, so that you have 2 people up for election next June, not 3. Because if you said just to fill until next June, you'd have 3 people running, and that's not a good staggering. So it's to fill 2 more years on the budget committee.
So,
Yep.
so you want to, on the
This sounds
July agenda, you want to have an agenda item accepting Chris's resignation officially, and then wait until the August meeting to appoint someone?
Right, it'll have
Yes,
to be
we'll
after.
have
Yeah, we have to. We got to
We
wait
have
the 30
to.
days and advertise it.
Right.
Because we have to wait the 30 days.
Yeah, it's been,
And it-
I've went through it 3 times, looked it over. Go ahead, Grace, if you think differently. But it's clearly in the
I
bylaws of
think
the select board.
we know we're going to do this. So at
Yeah.
the July 8th meeting, you can already have prepared a Wyndham Eagle.
Right.
Right? Like, and it can go out.
Yeah.
That day.
So that, we might be a little off in our 30 days, but we may have to wait even longer. But,
Okay.
I mean, we'll have to follow what this says.
Forgive me, Grace Levitt, Levitt Road. Not my place, I don't have the bylaws in front of me, but usual practice for anything like this is you appoint someone to fill the vacancy until the next election, which would be June. And in June, that position would be for just 1 more year, so that you continue the staggering.
Right.
So we've elected people that this is just for a 1-year term that you're running. So
Yep.
again, rather than you're appointing somebody for 2 years, the idea being it should be the voters who are electing people, not someone who's being appointed
That was
for
one of the
anything
things.
longer than necessary.
That was the
Well,
process.
unfortunately, it clearly says otherwise. However, in the past, we have in fact appointed people just the way you
The
said.
bylaws say to fill out the
Yes.
2 years, so we're not voting for somebody?
It's to fill the vacancy so that you don't have 3 people elected to 3-year terms.
I know, but
Understood.
No, sorry.
no.
Dennis, so what Grace is saying, which what Mel and
still
I,
staggers it with what she's saying.
yeah, because so you appoint for 1 year, they go to election June for a 1-year term, not the 3-year term.
And then it
So
keeps
that's a
staggering.
stagger right there.
But you still have to go through all those 30-day periods to even put that person in.
Yeah.
For this year, yes, for this year.
It's 1 year.
Until next election.
Oh, yes.
I'm just saying,
sorry.
they're
Yes.
not appointed.
No, it's, yeah,
Yes.
it's-
Okay.
it's,
Thanks.
you're right,
Yes.
Grace, and that was one of the things that we
Right.
discussed.
That's another thing we were looking for
Yeah.
clarification on, is how to interpret
No,
what the bylaws say.
the notice was today, the posting's next month. Then that, as Kayla was saying, it gets advertised, and at the very,
Yeah.
it says 30 days, but I don't think anyone is going to quibble over 29. But, I mean, literally, it's to get people interested.
Okay.
You
So
know.
there was recently a resignation on the planning board, I believe, and that was, the select board accepted the resignation and approved a new appointee
Right.
in the same night.
Right.
So I don't know how the timing of that happened.
This is just for elected officials by the public, both Budget Committee and Select Board. They fall under this parameters.
But this doesn't specifically say anything about elected in the bylaws. It's very generic
Oh,
about
interesting.
boards and committees.
Well, it says
Right.
Select Board
Right.
policy and procedures. Select Board.
Right, but we're talking about another elected board and how to fill that vacancy.
Planning Board's appointed, though.
No, it's volunteer.
They're elected.
They're not elected, but
Well, no,
it's
I'm
volunteer.
sorry, I thought we were talking about budget finance.
No, that was the distinguishing when I read this, because I read this in detail trying to figure it out, because before we have had Select Board just simply say, we're going to appoint someone until the June meeting. But they weren't going through the 30-day periods in the posting.
Gotcha.
That was the difference, the point I was trying to make earlier.
Okay.
I wasn't thinking about the way you said. In other words, you appoint them, and then there's an election a year later for the last year. That makes much more sense.
Okay.
It is confusing, as you can tell. So I think we figured it out on which way to go.
I'm comfortable.
We'll post it like this, and then we'll simply do it for the 1 year until the next election.
Yeah.
And then that election will be for 2 people for 3 years and 1 person for 1.
Yep.
Boy, it took me a while to get there, though. Get my head around that one.
You know, at 7:30, you know, it's pretty good. We're working through that.
The only thing is, who are you pulling papers for different positions? So, because it's a different term.
Yeah.
So you would probably pull papers for the 1-year term differently than you would pull papers for the 2.
Yes, that would be up to the decision, that would be the
sorry.
decision of the candidate, if they
Right.
want to go for the 1-year position or one
gonna
of
be
the
hard to-
3-year openings.
You're going to be hard to get because everyone's probably going to want, if they're going to do it, they're going to, or maybe not, maybe more people just want 1 year.
Just want the 1 year trial run and
But it's going to have to be
Right.
separate. You can't just take in 5 applications and then put them all in there and then just arbitrarily go, you get the 2, you get the 1.
yeah, that's a good point.
And I read that policy and then went into 30A to try to figure out the way around it, and it's more confusing when you get into state law trying to figure out, you probably both have done it, but I think we keep it simple. I think Derek makes a good point with simplifying it, saying that this will be a 1 year, you can run for the 3-year and you can run for the 1. The only other way to do it is say you run and least amount of votes gets the 1 year. That's the only way to do it. It's one or the other. So,
Yeah, we could look into that one, I guess.
yeah, we've got time to look at it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they give us 30 days. I don't know.
Maybe.
This is all new to me.
I think because there is confusion and it's not very clear, that I think we should consider reviewing the bylaws.
Oh, yes,
Making
definitely.
an adjustment to make it very clear,
Yes.
and also not only
Welcome back. We had another technical complication. We are in the middle of a town manager's report where we were discussing the vacancy created when Chris Hansen was elected to the Select Board, leaving a 2-year vacancy in the Budget Committee. And a wrap-up, as simply as I can say it, will be, we've accepted the resignation tonight on just a notice to us.
No, we haven't.
Yeah, we're going to formally accept it in the Select Board meeting for the vote next Select Board meeting.
Yep.
In which time there will be a posting to get any citizens in the town that might be interested in running for that position, but it will be a 1-year fill-in position, and then the last year of the remaining 2 years will be done through the election process of the public.
Perfect.
If I summarized it well.
Remaining 1 year.
The remaining 1 year after the appointment. So it's a 1-year term that we'll be looking for, followed by the election in June for the last year.
Great.
All right.
Thank you, Dennis. I'll just wrap up these quick highlights and move on. Public safety, we have one new hire, Robert Porter, firefighter and EMT. So that's welcome aboard, Robbie. 2 lieutenants got promoted, William Ferracci and Caitlin McHugh. Congratulations to them for their promotion. So I can say thanks to Public Works. They helped set up Camp Raymond this week, some of our bigger items. So thank you for picking up all of our stuff from the school, bringing it over. Parks and Rec, summer camp training is this week. Riley had the first day today, and our staff, and my do HR training tomorrow and get ready for setup, and we start next week for the summer camp. So that's 8 weeks of Monday through Friday, and we have about 60 kids enrolled, and so it's a good amount of fun. Raymond Village Library, they got a new walking path to the main entrance, $10,000 grant that was used. Looks great. Public Works helped implement that project, so good collaboration on their part. So that's all for the town manager updates. I'd like to confirm dates for the next regular meetings, July 8th, 2025, and August 12th, 2025.
Would anyone be interested, I don't have a problem with either date first, let's start with that. Anyone got any conflicts with the 8th or the August 12th?
Nope.
Would anyone be interested in doing a work session in between them to maybe talk about some of these changes we just talked about and maybe publicly talk about some things like we talked about with Tasseltop? It's going to be July, so if we're going to do it, we have to do it through some public workshop to get it started.
Dennis, do you think we can just get that into a discussion July 8th and then see if we need additional?
I might recommend that we start a workshop early and then start the regular meeting at like 6:30. So if we started at 5:30, we do an hour workshop.
I wouldn't mind that. Do it the same day.
Do it on July
What do you
8th.
Just to get some of our visions and thoughts out there?
I would like to do that goal setting or...
Right. 5:30?
As long as Bill's available, we'll have to
Yeah,
start.
well,
That's fine.
thanks, Bill.
Oh.
Thanks for monitoring us. So that'll be 5:30, work session,
Oh, and then have the other one start at 6.
and then the next one at 6:30. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Maybe we can talk about the rest of them, be 6:30. With that said, you want to talk about the dates closed?
Yes, upcoming holiday closings. This Thursday, June 19th, the town office will be closed, and Friday, July 4th, the office will be closed. And that is it.
Other than that, we have an executive session, consultation between the municipal officer and code enforcement officer, pursuant to, I might as well read the whole thing.
Well, I can make a motion
Good.
to go into executive session for consultation between municipal officers and code enforcement officer pursuant to MRSA 14056H.
Mr. Chair,
Don't we have to close this session first?
before we vote, I need to recuse myself because I'm the one that's names on the NOV that you're going to be discussing. Jason will be handling the discussions with you about how to handle that. So I'm going to step away from my seat here. I can either sit in the audience or I can leave. It's up to the board. But I won't be voting.
Right,
And I won't be discussing the consent.
right, because,
We had this conversation with the town attorney, Joe and I did.
Yep.
And for the optics.
So I get not voting maybe, but were you active code enforcement then, when this all went through?
Oh, yes.
we
So
shouldn't get into a lot of conversation, though.
That's not too much. I'm just saying you were.
It
so
was on the advice of our attorney that
To not be in
accused
any of
myself.
it?
Any code enforcement issues from now on, anything to do with executive session, when
And-
you're talking about a consent,
And does he
Jason
know?
will be doing that.
Does he know it was for a prior thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Joe and I had already had that discussion.
And no.
And I just wanted to be clear about, I would love to be part of it, but I don't want the bad optics for this board. I want to be totally transparent and let you guys decide what you do with the consent.
No, I get the vote part. I
Yeah.
just, if you were the only one there and he wasn't there yet, then it's tough because we're not hearing everything that happened in the past. So it's hard to make a
He's been
decision.
involved for a year, and before that, I wasn't involved because it was Scott Dvorak.
Yeah,
Yeah, we won't get into all that, but there's
Okay.
quite a history there.
Okay.
Okay, that said, was there a second? Did you second that, Sam?
Yes.
I thought you did. All right. All those in favor of going into executive session?
I have a quick question. There's people in Zoom. Are any of these involved?
The town attorney, Grady
I'm
Burns.
the town attorney.
Okay. So the rest of the people need to be removed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll sit in the car. I guess we can sit here. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing
else.
Nothing else anyway.
yeah.
There's nothing else. But I was going to stay through the whole thing. I wanted to, if you, how do you want to
Personally,
handle it?
I don't think you have to, because we still have a quorum, don't we, to vote
You do.
ourselves
Yeah.
out and
Yeah.
adjourn.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're going to adjourn.
So I'll just,
Vote,
I
you
can,
can stay, but you can't vote. You can be a source of information.
well, Jason can
No,
cover all.
I think what Chris is saying is we're done after this.
I'm gonna just
He's
leave.
going to leave right now.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think that's a good idea.
I think it's the best
Yeah,
for
yeah,
optics.
I do too.
So appreciate it.
I think that's the whole vote earlier.
Before he leaves, we have to sign these. There's a lot of
I'll
signatures
sign
we haven't
everything
got
before, yeah.
Yep.
for all of those deeds. There's some.
Well, let's vote to go in executive session first.
Mr. Chair, you going to executive session right now?
Do we vote?
No, we need to, before he leaves and before we go into executive session, we have to sign the stuff that we already approved in the meeting. It usually comes down during the meeting and it hasn't, so we should hit that first.
A couple of us got ahead of you.
Then we can go to executive
Yes,
session, he
yes.
can leave, and then that packet is done.
Thank you.
Good catch. Jay, you want to come sit up here?
I think that goes to
I
you.
Yeah, it
have
was
made
Just Chris and
Is there
Sarah.
any other ones? This
Bill
one?
Hogue
Oh, the feed.
again on Zoom, and I am
You know I
gonna
have anything.
leave.
I know, what, I found my own.
And hopefully it will still stay on. So if not,
All right, so you guys.
don't leave us, come back. Okay. I'm gonna try to
Good
leave.
first meeting.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, guys.
Meeting,
It's rusty right now, just
Oh,
figure it
and
out.
it's still going.
Yeah.
We're all still here.
Perfect.
You're all set.
I'd like to
Thank
recuse
you.
myself, too.
You don't have that luxury.
Yeah, but it's my anniversary. I hope my wife is there to make it back.
7:30, I think we're doing well.
We're doing good. Well,
We have to vote to go in executive session?
I said, we're
Not
doing
yet,
well.
not till after
Moving
we
through
sign,
this.
right?
Yeah.
We'll get out.
Fit our groove.
Yeah, but they
You
just
can
bounced,
say- yeah.
they just bounced everyone. What else?
Yep.
Never mind.
Yeah, I think he's right. There's been a motion, a second to go into executive session. We can vote now. Melanie will be leaving shortly, and
Yeah.
these will be signed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We lost
Yep.
Chris and we bounced everyone. We should.
Everyone in
vote.
favor?
We should.
Okay. Thank you. I'm entertaining a motion to adjourn from the executive session. Come out of executive session first.
We don't have to.
No, we don't
No.
do that. We just,
All right.
Just come out.
I think so.
Make a motion to adjourn then.
So
Yes.
I'll
All in
second.
Second that.
All in favor? Thank you.